Hello! Welcome to episode 106 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we take all of life's issues and we skin them just layer by layer by layer. We destroy our issues. We just tear them apart.
It takes a lot of time though.
It does. It takes years. It takes years because it's like a meat slicer at a deli, but like when the people ask for extra thin, but it gets too thin, and it kind of like breaks and it's like ooh slightly too thin, but then it's like no, not thin enough. We just do that.
Could you imagine like flaying just enough and be like, nah, it's too thin. So you have to go deeper, buddy. That's what
we do to our issues. We are just the greatest supervillain of all time to our issues, and we try to get something done. We hold each other accountable, and we make things in the world. Most recently, we've been working on a supernatural action comedy book called Deathless. Steven, every week we talk about what we wanted to do and how we did. How did you do this week?
I failed.
I failed too, Steven, because I wanted to finish it and I knew it wasn't gonna, and I failed, and we both failed.
It's just getting so close, but then things keep coming up because we have issues, and like it's frustrating, right? But I did finish. I shaded like the entire bike page, if that makes any sense. I finished flatting it because it wasn't fully flatted, and then I shaded it. And then I got flats done for I think the next 2 pages. So I'm like really close, but it's just dude. Chasey got this horrible stomach bug and had to stay home from school, in which she gave it to us, and then it was just a series of unfortunate events. So
yeah, dude. So a similar situation happened to me. So I was, I'm trying to get my lettering done. I was like, I'm either gonna get it done this week or following week, which is now. I started trying to get it done, people getting sick, trying to deal with all of that, and then catching up with work, and it's just like one thing after another. And then I got on this, previously, last week, I was kind of stuck on that magic page, and then I was kind of stuck on Deathless. The Deathless is dialogue, not narration, but I was stuck on the Deathless dialogue because I wanted to get the boxes right, because I was like, I don't really want it just to look like a normal word balloon. I want it to look a little different, So I was kind of trying.
And that's tough in and of itself. That's like me designing a new character, right?
Exactly.
Once the character's designed, you just pop it in.
Exactly.
And now but this is the creation of that moment. So this has to be good before I commit, right?
Exactly.
That's the whole problem with it. And those are always daunting tasks. I completely understand where you were mentally, because it's almost like a writer's block or art block when those things happen, because it's like you want it to look good so much so that you just don't know where to even start.
I had to figure that out. But I think I came up with a solution. I think it looks good. I will say though, Steven, I got this.
Which looks so epic.
Steven, I will tell you. So the quality, this was it's a blessing all around, because I love it. First of all, I put this thing together. I think it looks really cool. I'm really proud of how it came together. But dude, what it tells me is I printed some of the Deathless pages among the art.
Oh, how do they look?
And it looks so good.
So the lighting looks good on it?
Well, that's it. Okay, so this is what I was gonna say. The quality of that, it looks fine on the camera, and it even looks good up close. But it's a little fuzzy, because in order to get that size print,
it had to be stretched.
And here's the thing, it didn't what I had to do in order to get that size print, I just had to lower the file size so significantly. So I had to keep trying to kind of compress the image a bit. However, dude, it looks so good. Even at a lower quality pixel, less pixels per,
It's got to be the inks, right? And it's probably got to be the process in which the light brush works versus me using 2 layers.
Dude, it looks freaking phenomenal. it looks amazing.
That makes me excited, because I'm not leaning on the light pen, but there's a lot of light pen usage in the book.
Well, dude, I've been a little nervous about it. We haven't really talked about it. I've been trying to I'm kind of just trying to be confident and being you know what, it looks good enough in the digital one that it's not even questionable next to those inks. It looks beautiful. So I was it has to be reproducible. It has to be, and you know what, honestly, if the place we've been printing can't do it, someone else will. It's definitely reproducible. But this totally gives me confidence, and
that's just some random printer. So if those lights, and that red is basically, I think Jeff's red's a little different than the one I used for the Angel, but I basically committed to Deathless's red being Jeff's red, just so there's more consistency throughout the book. And so I think that's awesome. Dude, I see in the corner. I see the Angel
up here. Yeah, dude, it looks so good. So I'm so excited about that. So that was another thing I was doing this week, was setting up my life.
And that's kind of what it always is, right? Because even me, I'm playing music, it's we have so many different masks that we have to switch between.
So actually, that's like a perfect segue for the only thing I really want to talk about. So we have a segment coming up. So stay tuned. We're gonna talk to Jamie Jackson. We're gonna do a monster test segment about supervillains. But before we get to that, I just want to just really quick, Steven. Our show's always been just you and me, two best friends, talking through our journey and our struggles while we're trying to create comics. When we first started doing this, like our struggles were basically like you hadn't drawn in a while, like you hadn't like done comics in a while or tried in a while, and I was kind of giving up. I wasn't sure, and I also had like a lot of stuff going on in my own personal life. I was trying to date, and I was failing at it. Now we're in a different place in our life. Like it's been a while now, you know, like here we are almost 2 years later. And like we've made so much progress, but like we still have these issues, you know? So like I want, and like they're different issues, but I just want to kind of like, let's do like a quick update on like what our like what are we actually going through right now that does truly keep us down, you know? Because like week by week we're like this isn't really a serious show most of the time. We spend a lot of time talking about things that distract me and like thoughts that we have and like that kind of, and it's fun and I love our show. I do, and I want to keep it that way as much as we can until, you know, when serious things come up, we always address them and we do our best. But like I do like doing segments. I like having fun and mostly just like kind of sandwiching, you know, like fun between like some like, yeah, we you know, yeah, that's all. Like sometimes we have like bread and then like we have delicious stuff inside, you know. However, like I just want to like let's give a quick update because we have so much going on in our lives in general. So like, what are your issues right now? Like,
so I mean, and I'm sure it's very similar for you because you juggle this as well. Especially in the summertime. So what I do for a living is I repair and warranty pool pavers for the company I work for, who is Stina's grandfather's company. He installs the pool decks and everything, and then pavers in Florida settle. I mean, and when I mean settle, like we have to pull up, you know, half a pool sometimes and re-level pavers. So wintertime, I have all the energy in the world because the weather is like 75, but like summertime is so hard because it's like I feel like I'm never caught up on rest because when I say I sweat to my boots, like down to my boots, like I legit, like when I get home, I have to like peel my jeans off because I'm just soaked like from like working in Florida. Yeah. So like, that's like, cause I'm looking back, I'm like, man, I got through so much of Deathless so quick. And then all of a sudden I'm hitting this brick wall and it's like, oh, summer is obviously really causing me a lot of grief because I don't have the same energy that I have to plow through everything, you know? Of course, we were knocked off kilter by losing Mike, you know, which I did kind of think spiraled the momentum. Yeah, I mean, we've gained our footing again, but it's like kind of like it's like we're the juggernaut starting to run again. Okay?
Yeah, it's true, dude. And like that's kind of like where my head was when I was, you know, asking this because I know we went through a lot. And it showed on the on the podcast, and not everyone wants to stick around through some of that. I get it, you know. And it's tough, you know, but now we're kind of like on the other side of that, thankfully, you know, we're starting to like move again. And I'm just like, how do we keep our footing and keep going forward? And like, you know, what are the things that we should start thinking about? Like, what, you know, what is in the way?
It's re-solidifying that schedule, right? Because like you know, that schedule was so tight, you know, but then it's like, man, life is so fleeting, and like, you know, like all these different things start popping in your head, like what you need to do better in different aspects of your life. Like, do I need to spend more time with my kids? Do I need to see my wife more often? Like, where am I failing as a juggler? Because I mean, I play music for the worship team. I do like a lot of different things in my week, you know, so it's finding that momentum again and like getting that schedule back on track because I know I can do it. And I mean, I'm still doing it, but not as efficiently since that moment. So like maybe it doesn't even work. Maybe like I've been thinking it's like, oh, summer's been like really depleting me, but you know, like grief manifests in very weird ways, especially for people like us. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's such a weird thing. It's like separate from my brain, you know, like I don't have that direct connection. So it's weird, but yes, I think it's just about recommitting to scheduling for ourselves, right? Like it's recommitting, like for you, like how much of a calendar you've always kept. But see, for your case, you know, and not to speak for you, but like your life has changed dramatically in the best ways possible, right? So like you need to soak this time in regardless. Like I don't think you're doing anything wrong. Even if you do slip, like you're making a new life. Like you're sewing the threads of a very descriptive sweater. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Steven. So please, everyone, watch our interview with Jamie Jackson, and Steven just improvises a 16 paragraph Nathaniel Hawthorne book about a sweater, and that was all it was about the whole time. No, it was so funny. That was I was dying when you started doing it. But no, you're totally right, dude, and that's where I've been. I like right now, I like one of my issues is I do spread myself thin. Like I spread myself really thin, and like I've always kind of played this weird seasonal game of like, oh, I can kind of improvise my way through this, versus I have to meticulously plan this or else my whole life's gonna like fall apart. You know, like I kind of like I go in this weird cycle, and like it's been easy to do that for a while, but the more like we're getting to a point with our podcast and like with my various podcasts, and like I have a schedule now that I'm not used to. Like I'm still kind of like finding that cookie cutter shit. I'm still like I'm a cake, and it's like you're a cookie now, and I'm like, no, I've always been a cake. Am I a cookie? Am I a cake?
Is our new? I think our new like pairing should be sweater cookie. Like that's just sweater cake.
Sweater cake. Hey, sweater cakes. That's a weird word for boobs for sure, right?
Like sweater cakes. Like I mean,
like I don't know if anyone's ever said that, and they probably shouldn't. However, I'm sure someone has. Okay, so
a mafioso from like 1920s New York. Hey, sweater cakes.
Hey, sweater cakes.
But he's like talking like.
Or it's like the best, or like the worst Dick Tracy villain. Like, I'm sweater cakes over here. Like,
sweaty cakes?
Sweaty cakes? No, definitely not. Steven, I mean, probably. But Steven, when I think about it, like when I stop and I think about it, I'm like, I'm a full-time dad. Like, I am a full-time single parent. I have my son 98% of the time.
He's Nick Lachey up in this, all right?
Yeah, he's like, but so I have this new relationship that I'm trying to continue to develop, and it's evolving, and now we live together, and that's all new and fresh and wonderful, you know. But it's also one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's, you know, it's a burner that's on the stove. I'm like, like I have to pay attention to that one, you know. Like I'm paying attention to everything, and I have to make sure that I don't neglect anything, or else it's
burn the bottom of that soup. The whole batch is gonna taste horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, dude. And I don't want to do that, so I make sure I stir the soup. And I try my best to focus on everything, but I do have a lot of burners on. I'm wearing a lot of hats right now. Like dude, like right now, on every Sunday, I record Critically Stupid, the Dungeons and Dragons podcast, which is out now. We'll go watch episode 1. It's, you know, it's go check it out. I'll post a link below. But regardless, so I record that. That takes like 2 hours of my night on Sundays. So then Mondays we record. And we do this
2 hours now. It's
for about 2 hours, right? Because we have interviews. So then on Tuesday, I edit everything, and then on Wednesday I release everything, and then on Saturday I release the interview. So it's just like the only days I have are like Wednesday night. I kind of have like to relax / work on the comic. You know what I mean? Like so to work on Deathless, I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and like mostly Saturday, but like I work actually I just made some changes because of this. So like I've been struggling a little with my scheduling, so I was like, I'm taking Saturdays off. I'm not working Saturday nights anymore. I'm done. You know, I was like, I want.
That's like, awesome though.
Dude, I need it because the problem is like I have all this stuff that I do with this podcast and like with the comic and everything that like I want to make sure I have family time, and
I love how your first Saturday off though is probably coming to my little one's.
It's 100%. Just that is my first Saturday off. Like I literally worked last Saturday, and I'm like,
you gotta drive all the way to Diplomat. You want to drive here? You can ride with us if you want.
How dare you, Steven? No, it'll be great, but
it should be a good time though.
Oh, it'll be great. I don't be like it. I love it. I like it, but that's part of it. That's what I mean. Like
that's why we need those extra days.
I need that Saturday, because like otherwise I'd be like, oh no, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't go to my best friend's daughter's birthday. I need to go to work at a craft store and get yelled at by old people. Like, no, what am I doing with my life? Like the things we're doing are so much fun and so great, and like I love it. Like I believe in us so much, and I love what we're doing. I feel like if we had a little more time, we could really make it into more. But I think it's happening. It's happening at the pace that we're working at. You know. Like it's like as soon, as we get rolling more and like as our juggernaut like finds his stride again, I think it's gonna take off, especially with, I really do believe in Deathless. I think this book is great. I can't wait. But like
issue 2 is gonna be amazing too.
Oh dude, issue 2 is gonna be so much fun. I can't freaking wait. Like I'm so close. Like, so anyway, but yeah, dude, I have so much going on, and I've been making little changes in my life to compensate and kind of like arrange things and kind of put my puzzle in order so that my burners don't explode and my house gets caught on fire and I burn my hands again.
Completely understand that, dude.
So I've been like, so every once in a while I'm like, you know what, like this week, it's just like last week, I have to start remembering that like it's okay to overshoot and undersell. Like, it's okay to be like, I hope for more, but I'm going to do a little. At least I did a little. You know what I did? Like, I solidified a thing, like we talked about. And then next week or this week now, I can finish it because now I have all of the information I need to finish that thing. So this week, I'm going to completely finish that and it'll be good. But like, dude, it's been so like my issues right now are just time management, which I'm getting a little bit better at. And kind of forgiving myself because I'm freaking, I feel that fire, like that stupid ambition where I'm just like, I want more, but that's a slippery slope because like when you work, like, you work a hard freaking job and like so I know sometimes you're at work and you're like, I'm a freaking comic book artist, like at heart, like even if you because like as humble as we want to be, it's like you are good enough to be doing this like professionally, and there's no reason we can't, so it's just like we are getting there. It's just every once in a while it'll weigh on us, and I feel it. Like every once in a while, like I've had to, like, actually today at work, I'll celebrate this a little bit. Today at work, a woman said to me, she's like, thank you for being so pleasant, you're so nice. And I was just like, yeah, I'm happy right now. Like I found, like I was just like, cool.
This is my moment of zen. I've arrived. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's where it is, because like I don't love my job, but I have gotten to a place where I can recognize that, hey, this is just where I am right now. I'm doing what I have to do and what I can do. And when I'm not at work, I'm so happy. Like I have all this stuff going on and it's all great, And so like I'm so excited. And like it used to be I'd go to work and I'd be miserable because I can't wait to get out of there. But now I'm just like, this is just a thing I have to do. It's the first step in a series of steps to get to where I need to be, and I'm fine with it. I have to.
This is me drawing backgrounds. Okay,
that's exactly what it is. So it's just like I'm in a better place emotionally than I was when we started the podcast, which makes me feel good. But I do have a lot more going on, so I'm just like, okay, as long as I can keep managing this and not panic. But it's just like everyone we talk to, like when we talk to Jamie, it's just like it's about that time management and finding the little bits of time where it's just like
Stephen King, I think, says he writes 6 pages a day. I was like, George R. I. Martin and him were like talking on stage, and he's like, I'm lucky if I write, a chapter every 6 months, but you're over here. He goes, I write it, I can write a manuscript in 2 months because I write 6 pages a day, 6 pages about you. And it's like, man, it's like 4 hours a day, right? Is what he's dedicating basically about 4 hours a day to writing. I mean, and like, it's hard, but that's that's like a truth, right? If you can't dedicate, you're gonna fall short. Like,
of course, dude.
You're feeding multiple things, right? So like, yeah, but like, I also kind of view like what we're doing right now, and how busy we are, and how tough it is, and how not necessarily financially fruitful, but like, what do they say? Like, everyone that starts a business, right? They don't really cut a check for themselves in the first 5 years. Yeah. So this is all the investment period, right? This is like if this is like a business, this is us just going above and beyond to get do this podcast, edit this podcast, do these drawings, color, all this stuff that we're doing just to work towards what our dream is, right? And like, it's gonna pay off. It's gonna have a some ending that's gonna result in positive. You know what I'm saying? Like, well,
dude, 100%. And I think what's also important for both of us, and I know we've done this numerous times throughout the podcast and our friendship, and like everything we're doing is like, you and I, like, we get through this thing, we get to this point where like we're looking for this heaven, like this, this final place. We're gonna be like, we're getting to this, we're gonna get to this realm where everything's perfect. But like, we do have a lot of these great moments, like we have so much.
And it makes you wonder if we ever get to those heaven moments that we foresee as a heaven moment now, like, we're not even gonna be satisfied that either. Probably.
No, there is no.
Keep pushing to keep pushing. I mean, it's obviously who we are, right?
Yeah, and it's like, and we're both finding places, and like we both have like joys in life, and like part of this is part of it, you know, like I love what we're doing. I'll say that forever, you know, and like as much as like I do wish more people would read Play It Again, like a lot of people have read it, and I'm so thankful that every time someone reads it they seem to enjoy it. I wish more, like I forget to sell that book, Stephen. I forget. but
we are pretty bad at that.
Oh, we are, dude. We have to, like, that's the thing we'll work on over time. But like that's all this is. Like people will slowly watch our show, and
you can only earn so many talent points a week to put into your skill trees. Okay, so
true.
I mean,
we got no marketing skills, Steven.
Yeah, I mean, we've been dumping into like drawing and writing really heavily. Podcast editing's in there, shipping. Like we're pretty good at a lot of things.
We're getting there, Steven. But dude, but I do think that like we're pretty good at celebrating little victories as we go, and like we have been fortunate to get like our Kickstarters funded. We've made a lot of friends. We've had the opportunity to like share numerous books, you know, and different people's Kickstarters, and we've helped people find success. We've made real friends, you know, like it's cool. It's been a good process so far. I'm super proud of us. But like one of my favorite things that we do, Stephen, is we talk about monsters.
I love monsters a lot. I mean, monsters are what made us become best friends. So
it's true. So like I like it. I like talking about monsters with you. I like talking to other people who also enjoy monsters and different, you know, monstery things. So this time we talked to our friend, the fantastic and prolific author Jamie Jackson, author of Fear and Fury, and among several other books. You can check them out on Amazon and everywhere, you know, books are found. But we're going to talk to her and do a monster test. Stephen, by the way, Steven.
Your shoe shined up. It's time to test that.
I was not expecting that monster test song, and it cracked me the hell up.
At this point, because I genuinely do forget like what I say. At this point, I don't know if that's just the running gag. Like, do I just make up something on the fly every week whenever we have a show? So whatever the game is, Steven, come up with a theme song really quick.
Pretty much. That's what
I genuinely forget people. Like I'm just like, what did I sing? Because like,
Steven, what was that theme song? This one is a special edition because you've written these incredible books with these incredible characters, and I'd like to do something different where we talk about supervillains as a monster, because supervillains is a type of monster as much as Dracula is. As much as any other monster.
It's the monster of the story, right? Like in any sort of arc, or
I mean, like what? Like, are you saying that a werewolf isn't just a superhero, like a supervillain who has the ability to turn into a beast? You know what I mean? Like, what is the difference? You know. So anyway, so I would like to do that with you if you're willing. So Steven, will you hit us with the sweet monster test theme? It's, you know what it sounds like every week, Steven. Every time we got this.
Get your shoes shined up, and it's time for monster test. Cause we gotta test your knowledge. Monster test. I literally change it every time, JB. Monster test.
Don't listen to him. It's literally it's the same verbatim each time. Shoe shines and all. We always. I was like, he was gonna take that part out. I was like, no. You keep in that shoe shine part. It is gold. What was that?
It was part of a Juicy Fruit commercial ad, if I'm honest.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not crying. You're crying. Okay. So, Jamie, I don't look like I'm crying right now. Everyone else does. It's a light. It's a light is in my eye. It's allergy season here. It is too.
It's allergy season every day in Florida.
Florida, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it's all the time. And winter's even worse because something blows in from the north and it like dries. Like, I think what it is we lose our humidity, and we're so used to that moisture that like, we feel dry, and we're just like, we're dying. It's too dry, you know. But because we're fish people down here. But anyway,
a little bit. So okay, Jamie, we have to ask you, what is a supervillain?
Oh, what is a supervillain? Okay, well, obviously it's somebody who uses their powers for not always evil per se, but certainly selfish purposes. And they have to have a lair. That's like villain 101.
Yes, the lair for sure.
So Steven, just gonna say you have the lair. I know for a fact you've used your powers for purposes. I'm just saying, like she's making a good case for you to be a supervillain, Jamie. So I've got you. So you posed a question though. So do supervillains have to have superpowers to be labeled a supervillain?
You know, I don't think they do. Because Lex Luthor doesn't have any superpowers. He uses his money. He uses technology. I mean, Tony Stark himself could end up being a supervillain because he has the technology. He has the ability to create things that he could take over the world with. So
yeah, no,
I think that's a good case, because if any of the heroes that we know, even because typically supervillains do have some sort of crutch, but like if any of the heroes we know, like if Batman was a bad guy, like that dude kicks ass every day. Like if someone was a Batman and he went around, I mean, Batman kind of is a villain, but like if someone was like Batman and just like went around and kicked, like that's a supervillain, right? I mean, like he's causing chaos.
So okay, so that was a question. That was a question I want to ask. I want like, so Jamie, what's the difference between simply an antagonistic character, antagonist, and a villain character? Is there like, you know, because that's, I feel like there's a difference there.
Yeah, I think like an antagonistic character generally is only after the hero themselves. They're not looking to create mass chaos. They're not looking to take over the world. They just have this one vendetta, this one person that they want to take out for whatever reason. Whereas a villain has much bigger plans than that.
So do you think, okay, so how do you feel about redeemable villains versus like archetypically evil villains? Like you know, villains where it's like, these are redeemable people, you relate to them, and these are just like repulsive people who are like monsters.
I think honestly you need both of them. You know, and I have villains that I would say are somewhat redeemable because they're not a total lost cause, you know, and they could end up joining the team later on, but you know, I think you still need those absolute.
You need the Jokers of the world, basically the pure representative, like, you know, representation of chaos. And
yeah, the ones who just, you can't save them. They don't want to be saved. They enjoy being bad people.
Okay, so
I actually commented this on your Twitter thread, Anthony, and like everyone always goes to Joker as like the most irredeemable villain, you know, but I really do think it's Red Skull. Like when it comes to like villains that are just, there's like not a single shred of them that's worth like salvaging. Like I think Red Skull has consistently proven that he's just an absolute horrible person. Like he's just a monster.
I mean, I will say regardless, Steven, no one's going to argue against you because he's a Nazi. So like,
it was a very clever play of mine.
It's a very clever play on your part.
Honestly,
like there's like, I'm a contrarian at like in my core. In my core, I'm like, actually, Steven, actually, he is a victim of society because but then I'm like, no, Nazi.
Like, dude, the thing that like messed me up the most about him was like in the Ultimates universe, like you like get introduced to him and he like makes this woman kill her husband, and then or he's gonna kill her baby, and then as soon as she kills her husband with a knife, he throws the baby out the window. So I mean, like in the first like 3 pages of that comic, it's like, wow.
Yeah, that's. I mean, anytime. And
I can't believe they wrote that. You know?
Isn't it crazy? I know. Well, isn't it crazy? Did you guys all have that? Because, and I know people don't like to talk about this. We're all supposed to be like these like openly 100% empathetic souls from birth to death. But in reality, for me, I'll tell you that like as a younger guy, like before having kids and being around kids more, I could find humor in like weird things in horror movies and stuff where it's like, oh, where it's like it's a little like, oh, that's edgy and weird and it's kind of funny. As soon as I like was around kids more and had my own son, I was just like, everything makes me sad, you know. Just, like,
this is gonna break my soul.
This is gonna, yeah. I was like I identify so strongly with that now. Where I'm just like, oh, he's someone's baby. He is their best little boy, you know. And then like, so like I remember I read a Daredevil book, and Bullseye did that where he took like a tooth. It was like a glass. I'm trying to think of what it was. It might have been a toothpick. It was, but he threw a glass across like this alleyway through a window and like killed someone, like someone's parent, like killed like the, you know, like, yeah, killed like a dad. You know, I was just like, this is the worst thing I've ever read. I was like, this is like, I was just like, oh, why? But and like, of course they're trying to be like, hey, this guy's irredeemable and we're gonna make you hate him right off the bat. It's like, yeah, like Jamie, are you familiar with like the Save the Cat book or like Save the Cat like series of thinking with like narratives? Yeah, because like
no, so
oh, you haven't read it? Okay.
It exists.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, I mean, there are so many weird formulas and like different things like that writers have access to if we want to, it's just like, hey, if you're having trouble with a story, here's Joseph Campbell, or here's like this other, but like on writing, and here's this. But the Save the Cat thing, like one of the things they suggest is like, if you want to give if you want to make readers relate to a character and want them to win, what you do is you create a situation where they have to save something that you're familiar with. So like if you watch the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, for instance, like one of the first scenes when they show him, he saves a turtle right away. He saves a turtle. So like, right. And like, not that he needed that, but it puts him in the level of likable immediately. You immediately relate to him. You're like, oh, I like this guy. He is a hero. I like him. I think they do the opposite thing with villains to try to make them feel irredeemable.
They show the same sequence of events, but he kills the turtle instead.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Like he puts the turtle at risk, like, or does something deliberately to hurt the turtle. You're like, oh, what kind of monster does that? And then you learn what kind of monster does that, and then so then you want to watch his comeuppance. But anyway, so Jamie, what is your favorite villain in fiction that you've seen? Like something that inspired your villains that you're like, man, I just want, like, that's like top tier one of my villains that I need to create something like this.
Probably, I think I've got like two. So Heath Ledger's Joker performance.
Oh yeah.
Is just, chaotic. He's psychotic. You know that he's doing it just to be evil, to force other people into positions where they would have to choose to be just as evil as he is.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really have any sympathy for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a phenomenal performance.
Oh, I love that performance so much. I think it's one of those things that's like I think it's going to continue to make weird circles with being like appreciated and then kind of take it for granted, because I think like we all went through the same thing where we saw it and we're like, I've never seen anything like this. But then he does this thing that like only the most iconic people, like Michael Jackson, Elvis, like when you create a character that's so iconic that you can replicate it, but you couldn't have invented it. Like it's like this magic that exists where it's like, oh, anyone can do that. It's like, yes, any of us can do that voice a little, but he invented this whole character, and that's amazing. Yeah.
It's like the whole thing about how like, oh, Jimi Hendrix isn't that good, but it's like he wrote those guitar parts. So like he created those sounds. Like people didn't do that really. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you do it now and you shred much better than Jimmy does, but no one was doing that. You know what I'm saying?
You were literally, you can only exist because your chicken exists because of his egg. Like recognize that a little bit, So yeah, I'm totally with you. Like Heath Ledger's performance is still one of my favorite, at all, of all time. Although I will say, I had this weird realization, and it just like it was one of those things where you stumble upon things in the internet, and then like pieces start coming together. So I got into I was just listening to like random music and looking for songs to cover, and I started listening to Tom Waits, and I kind of got into Tom Waits for a little while, and then I was like watching interviews with him, and there's an interview with Tom Waits where he's like on David Letterman or something, and it's from like 1980 or something, but he sounds exactly like Heath Ledger's Joker in that interview.
You saw that interview basically?
So no. But here's the thing that like pieced it together for me. so there's Tom Waits doing this interview. It sounds exactly like the freaking Joker. And then Heath Ledger, one of his last performances before he died, he was filming the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus with Tom Waits. So like they were filming that right at and that movie was a long-term process. So they filmed like Batman as they were working.
Oh yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah. So I was
it's like maybe he just picked up things from that guy. He's like, yes.
Like I think he was inspired by Tom Waits and kind of found this character through him. I don't know. I can't prove it. I wish I could be like, hey, Tom Waits, like, did you ever talk to Heath Ledger about being chaos incarnate? But like I can't because I don't know him yet. So if you know Tom Waits, like, oh, get us together.
I need to talk to Tom.
Sorry, gotta talk to Tom.
I need to speak to the commissioner. Okay, so Heath Ledger Heath Ledger as the Joker, and what's the other villain that?
Darth Vader.
I was gonna say, I had a feeling it was gonna be Darth, but it's a good villain to
he's a
like.
Great villain. Not only because when you first encounter him, he is fighting. He's also a sympathetic villain.
Mhm.
By the time you get to the end, you know this history about him. And when you get further into the story of Star Wars and you know what happened with his life, how young he was when he was taken from his mother, how he grew up a slave, like, you know, it's kind of hard not to blame him for going over to the dark side.
For sure. And honestly, though, he really is both, right? Because I mean, like, as Anakin becoming Darth, I mean, he murdered children. I mean, he murdered children, he murdered women. I mean, Vader's been shown in like comics and things like that. Just he's like a devastator. I mean, like he destroys groups of people with no mercy. But then you do see this others. He's almost like both villains in that regard, right? Because he has like all these redeemable things at the end, but like, man, was he brutal, you know? Like, I mean,
he was. You know, he was an awful, awful person and not somebody that you wanted to encounter.
It's oh my gosh. It's probably best that he wasn't around to raise the kids. Just putting that out, like.
Does he get the pass because he was basically corrupted by the dark side? You think that's why he can kind of exist on both sides of that villain coin? Is that what it is?
I think that's why he gets that sympathetic villain card.
Mm-hmm.
That and the fact that it happened a long time ago
in a galaxy far away. So I mean,
because you know he does get corrupted by the dark side. He has Palpatine whispering in his ear, just you know, insidious things, and those are going to affect a person to that kind of point.
Oh yeah, for sure. So what is your favorite villain that you've created? Or not, it doesn't even have to be your favorite, but like what's one that you're like, I can't wait for everyone to meet this character?
Okay, so he gets kind of like this very short
Wait, Jamie, I have an idea. Jamie, can you give us his name and Steven's gonna guess what he does?
Okay, Flair. Yeah.
Okay, so I have to just immediately assume that Flair is going to have some sort of pyrokinetic powers, right? Like he's got to like shoot like flares of like raw fire energy.
He's not a flare, he just flames a lot. Is that what you're saying?
No, Flair.
Oh, Flair. Okay. So, well, that he sounds dark as hell. Flair. I mean, I think of like, you know, like the, you know, people that flayed people, basically skinned them alive. So like Flair, I'm guessing like some sort of blades in his arms or something like that for him to like just like cut people into pieces and, you know.
Cuts their life into pieces.
No, Stephen, Freyr. Like, oh, like he phrased. No, I'm just kidding.
Frasier, Stephen. It's Frasier. No. Okay.
No, he's pompous British, and he has his own like, you know, radio show.
Yeah. He gets a very short mention at the beginning of the first book.
Okay.
And his power is related to basically peeling people's skin.
Ooh.
Off their bodies. So he doesn't use any weapons other than his own power to do this.
He just skins people like almost like his mind, like basically.
Basically skins people alive.
What if he? I mean, like, because we have so many layers of skin just like loose that can come out. Like, what if like you know, he's
down through the muscle to the bone? Like,
oh, that gets dark. But what if he had to do it one at a time and it took like an hour each? So he's like, I'm gonna get you. You'll see. just like each. Like,
and he's like, oh no, I'm being skinned. You're being skinned alive by the flare. And it's just like slow.
Bro,
it's just there goes your like, first level of your dermis.
That might be worse.
That might be worse. Honestly,
like,
would be, right?
At some point, you'd be like, this is kind of like getting a tan. This isn't so bad. Like, this could be like, you know, like he could tattoo people a little. You know?
Remove tattoos. I mean,
he could remove tattoos. So, no, but that sounds amazing, actually.
No, that's a pretty badass power. Like, deconstructing the human body basically down to bone.
Dude, I love that. Like
basically what Magneto does to Wolverine. I'm gonna stab Magneto. Wolverine, your skeleton's made of metal. I'm gonna do it every time. Every time this jagoff. But this guy can do what Magneto does to Wolverine all the time. Like he just doesn't matter who you are. That's pretty.
So in your books, do we get to see Flair like really in action?
Yeah, in book 8. I wish I could have gotten him in sooner than that, but you do actually get to see.
Oh, that's awesome though.
He does seem like someone that has like a pretty strong power. So if you had to introduce him early, he would have to be someone that's like almost untouchable, or like just like so far out of reach of any sort of stopping point for him. So I get like why he would appear later.
Yeah.
I think about like a video game, like you're not versing, like Goro on the second round of Mortal Kombat, like.
Just jump kicks. Just jump kicks all day. So, okay. Last question to wrap up our monster test. I just want to just bring monsters into it a little bit. If you had to take one of the basic, like the traditional classic universal monsters and put them as a supervillain in your world, which one do you think you would choose and what would fit best?
Oh, I mean, because I have, like, do you mean other than vampires and werewolves?
No, I mean, like, yeah, like, do you have vampires and werewolves in your book?
I do not. There are no vampires and werewolves.
That's what I figured.
You do get to meet a hero with shifter type abilities, but he does have a single form that he uses.
Okay, so like I'm thinking like Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, Wolfman,
Swamp Thing,
like the
Man
creature
Thing,
Black Lagoon, and and like a mummy. Like of those.
So nothing classical like Medusa.
Oh, well, I know because you have because you're doing the Greek gods, but what would you let's go Greek god pantheon all the way back. Like what?
Because you already get it's spoiler, but you already get Medusa in one of these books. So
Medusa's an awesome
Megdusa.
Megdusa.
But no, that's awesome. I can't wait to get through more of the books. But okay, Steven, do you feel that Jamie knows her stuff when it comes to supervillains? How do you think she did? Like, if you
I feel like she. I mean, yeah, I feel like she nailed it right on the head. Like better than me.
What would you get her? Like, if you had to give her like a grade, Steven, what would you give her?
I would give her an 8 out of 8, though.
Okay, so
that's the scale. That's the
what
scale.
I'm thinking, Steven, is we need to just film like a standard you saying that everyone is the best at everything, and just like I'll just post that same thing at the end, Steven, because everyone's so good according to you. I mean, I agree. I just also want to give you crap for always saying that people are perfect, because it's not. Dude, but it was so much fun talking to Jamie. Go check out her books and everything below. Follow her on Twitter. She's hilarious. That's actually like where we met, and we get to interact with her all the time. She's so funny and clever, and just like one of those people that's just like makes Twitter worth being on. Like not everyone's like that on social media. So Steven, what are you gonna work on this week?
Once again, I'm pushing, but I think like for more realistic goal, I'm gonna push through and flat the rest of the book. I think because I think that's what's kind of pulling me back is like going from shading and into flatting, and so I think I'm just gonna flat the rest of it because it's mostly there, and then hopefully shade it too. But if I can at least get it all, obviously big weekend coming up with Chasey's birthday on Saturday and all that. So
this week I am going to I'm gonna finish the basic dialogue and sound effects, like all of that lettering of the book. I'm also going to see Clerks 3, which I'm excited to do.
That is awesome.
I'm pretty excited. Right? Yeah, I'm going to see tomorrow. So this week I'm going to edit this podcast, edit an interview, finish all of the lettering for the book, and go see Clerks 3. That's me this week. Then that means next week I'm gonna try to see if I can get any of it done this week. But I'm gonna start noodling with the narration of Deathless. Like I have like something going on in my body that I think I can get out that'll make this book like it'll add that little bit of spice, like that like pizzazz, like the bit of magic that I like. It has. And this book is full of magic, but I feel like I just need to bleed on it a little more. Like I'm just like I'm so used to just like opening my veins.
You need to add the chemical X. Is what
I do pretty much, Stephen. It needs it. No, it's a great book. I can't wait for people to read it. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're only listening on one of the various podcasting apps, you could thank JD because he reminds me every week, and I just appreciate the heck out of him. But
producer JD.
please go to youtube.com/We Have Issues podcast and join us here. Subscribe to our podcast. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. That's our goal. It's been our goal from the beginning. I can't wait to get there, and we're so freaking close, Steven. It keeps happening. Like we're inching our way up there. We're just, that's how we climb steps, one cultist at a time. It's just what we do.
It's so weird though. It really has been in spurts. Like it stagnates and then it just jumps. It's like we meet a new group. You know what I'm saying? Which I like it that way because I get to meet everyone and I know everyone. You know?
Yeah, it's true. It is really cool. I mean, I guess that's how you make a cult, just one person at a time. You're just like, come here, drink this Kool-Aid. We apologize for the flavor, but it was free, and also here's the podcast. You get like, I drink the Kool-Aid, and all I got was this silly podcast. but thank you all. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate you. Contact us on Twitter. Let us know what your issues are. Let us know if you want to be interviewed by us. Contact us on twitter.com/We Have Issues Pod, and we'll try to get back to you whenever we can. I'm gonna start trying to do better about getting my calendar together, because I've been moving. I've had a lot going on in my life. I think we've been doing a pretty good job of this new format so far. We've only missed 1 week of interviews, and it's been pretty great.
Mm-hmm. It's been awesome, and I like the way it's been working too. People have been giving. It's been working out perfectly for views, in my opinion. I mean, of course, we always love more, but I love the way it's been split. It's doing better than I expected, so it's awesome.
I think it's been going really well. So let us know what you think of the new format. Let us know what you think about supervillains as monsters, or what you think about our various issues. Like, how do you think we're doing? Do you think tell me I am just doing okay? Tell me I am a success. Tell me I'm winning. I'm closer to. No, I'm kidding. But thank you all. You're all amazing. I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And this has been episode 106 of We Have Issues. We'll see you next week.
Get it, boy. For some reason, I don't know why I was thinking this. It was a good joke, but maybe it's not a good joke, so I'm glad I didn't say it on the actual thing. When she was saying, I like to leave enough space, which is what good writers do. They leave space for the person to imagine. For some reason, my mind was like, I just imagined Tracy Morgan reading her writing and being like, so where are the kangaroos coming from? And she's like, where did you read about kangaroos? You left space in the writing. You left me to my own devices. I saw kangaroos. Like, I don't know why I thought that.
Steven, your Tracy is so good though. Like it's close enough to be amazing. Like it's speaking of that,
but that's what I was thinking. Like, if you go back and watch my face, I'm like half smiling while she's talking. It's because I'm imagining Tracy Morgan talking about kangaroos. You left
put
me
the
to my
kangaroos in
devices.
there, Liz Lemon.
Exactly. I don't know what made me go that route.
Oh,
But
it's so good.
I'm picturing kangaroos.